Christos anesti, alithos anesti, Christ is risen, truly he is risen. Well, I'm sitting here in the third pew on this side of the church. You're saying, Father, what are you doing in that pew? That's Mary Gabriel's pew. Yes, it is. And Mary, if you watch this, I'm doing it in your honor. We're people of habit. We walk in to a familiar place and we choose where we sit. What's our place in the world? We make this claim, and I'm not critical of it. It's human nature. But let's examine how we sit in the pew and what it's about as it relates to the purpose of the church, which is an encounter with the divine. If we just come in, and the first thing we do is we come in and we're looking around like this, and we're checking out who's over here, who's not here, obviously there's something wrong with that. When we come into the pew, we should come in deliberately, walk into the church, do your cross immediately as you walk into the church, come to the pew, do your cross, and sit down and settle into yourself. Because now you're abandoning your concerns, abandoning your curiosities, and you're decompressing. And preparing yourself to meet the Lord, to have an encounter with the Lord, to have a dialogue with him. After all, the divine liturgy it's a holy work. Divine liturgia, the work of the people, is to have a conversation with God, to offer what we have, and to be able to listen and take in what he's offering. That takes an ability to be focused on the Lord and looking forward. If I'm looking this way, if I'm looking that way, if that baby's distracting me, or that woman's wearing a funny hat, or somebody new is coming to the church, I'm saying, what are they doing here? There's something wrong. Accept that there's going to be movement, but be prepared to encounter the Lord. Now, there are a couple of ways to do that. The first is the drift. And that is where I just decompress and I become part of the atmosphere of the church. And it doesn't matter whether I'm saying anything, but I'm just decompressing and relaxing and letting go of my hold over my own life so that I can be with God. That I like to call the drift, and that's okay. A lot of Orthodox do that. It may seem like they're not following in a book. They're just following along with the flow of the Spirit. That's okay. And then there's the other side, which is the participation mode, which is to take the book, find where you're at, and keep track and follow along in a very deliberate way. Either way is acceptable. I kind of push the second way because of my own tendency to drift off the map somewhere. And that's very easy to do. It's very easy to forget why we are here. If we're in a place where we're going to meet the King of Glory, then we have to be prepared to meet him. And that isn't something to be taken casually. It's an honor to be in this place. This is the house of God. This is the Lord's place. And we're sitting in one of the places that he's reserved for us. So we cannot be cavalier about it. We cannot be aloof or indifferent about it. But we can settle in and soak in his presence, or we can actively converse with him. And this is corporate worship. It makes the assumption that we have prayed at home, or that we're familiar with what the service is. And then when we come here, we become not a one Christian, but a body of Christians, a body of believers who are together, facing in the same direction and seeking to encounter the Lord. Well, that's it for this brief session. And the third session, we're going to talk about this encounter with the Lord. May God bless you and keep you.